Alright, what's going on, everybody? So, I have a brainstorming exercise and a little art project that we're going to combine into a contest. First thing that you need to do is open up your map. And we're going to be going to Ella Ames Bunker. Okay, so let's go ahead and fast travel here. Once you're at Ella Ames Bunker, what we're going to do is look to our right. Let me zoom out here a little bit. We're going to look to our right. See that rock outcropping? We're going to run alongside of that. Now, let me grab my Campy. I got my Campy module. Over here, you can see there's a little island with soot flower. You can see that I have a camp module placed here already. But let's run back one more time just to make sure that you're not getting lost. There's Ella Ames Bunker. We look to our right, run along the wall. This is the only island that has soot flower on it, okay? You can see we've got soot flower. But just to show you that it wasn't like a fluke that I glitched my camp module or anything like that, we're going to go ahead and drop my camp module, okay? So the exercise is me picking a location. And I'm going to show you again on the map. That's where we're at. We are on this island with the soot flower. And this is important. It's part of the exercise. So the rules of this contest, I want one of them to be I'm picking the location. And the reason that I'm doing that is that I thought it would be a really creative and fun thing to do if we were all limited. And that way we can compare the camps, we can get ideas off of other people, that maybe their building style is going to be different than yours. And that's the entire purpose of this, is that we're all bound to the same constraints. And that way we can get inspiration off of one another. We can see how one person takes advantage of certain things and then another person takes advantage of other things. And that way it's a learning process for everybody. But it's forcing creativity too. And I'm going to explain why. Not only are we limited to building or placing your camp module on the island, I don't want anybody to manipulate their budget. I want everybody to have the adventure mode where you have 500 flamingo units as your budget. That way it keeps everybody within the same means. I want people that don't know how to do a lot of glitching or anything to be able to participate in this as well, and that way it'll help them grow also. So, what are some of the freaking rules? And now that I've placed this, let's just get this out of the way real quick. And then I am going to go into FreeCam. Let's get up above here. Alright, so part of why I wanted to do this is, again, an exercise, because essentially all we're doing is creating digital art, okay? We're painting a digital scene. So, rules are, in your floors tab and your walls tab, these two tabs, none of these things can be used in your final camp. What I mean by that is that you can go ahead and build with these, and this is good water, so you can place things in the water and then still remove it when it's all said and done. So during your build process, it's absolutely okay to use floors and walls. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I want to make sure that nobody has the floors or the walls in their camp, okay? Now, the reason that I'm leaving this open, okay, to be able to use during construction, is that not everybody has catwalks. but I'm going to show you a little trick. Real easy to do. You can see I've got my floor, I've got a doorway, and it has to be a doorway, remember that. So key thing is that this is a doorway. Now, I can delete all of these roofs anytime that I want, and that's because it has a supporting structure. Alright, so let's go ahead. We're going to pop more roofs back up here. We want to change this to an angle piece, and then we can bring it back down to a flat piece. And now it's not connected by a floor or a wall. This is just floating up here. Alright, you can see I can still delete the floors. So I can get rid of all these, and then all we have is this floating structure right here. I want to show you something else though that's kind of important, because once you've deleted that wall, you cannot move these anymore. So I do recommend that, you keep your floors underneath it, at least one of them. And the reason is that we can go back. Let's find a wall. See, it doesn't want to snap on here. Isn't that cool how the game works? Alright, so let's change this back. Now we've got an angled piece. It let me snap that back down. We're going to trade that for a flat piece. And now you can see that I can still delete these. Okay? But I want you to keep that in mind. If you want to delete this wall, see how it's not letting me delete it. It says that the floor will, or the roof will be inaccessible. That's why you have to change it to an angled piece. You can delete your wall, and then you can convert it back to a flat piece. And now this could be a floor if you wanted it to be. Well, that's an option, okay? But let's go ahead. We want to get rid of this stuff. Another option that you have is making blueprints out of catwalks. I wanted to leave the roof as an option because not everybody has catwalks. But if you go into your miscellaneous, let's scroll down here, 8,000 miles until we find our catwalk. Okay, so now we have a catwalk piece. It's not showing up. There we go. Alright, let's set that down. So catwalks, they will snap onto your floor. Kind of works out nicely. But the problem with the catwalks is that, see, I can't just set this down on the ground. And that sucks. It's inconvenient. I can't put it up in a tree. I can't do anything with it. It has to snap to a foundation piece. Now, there is a workaround with that. I'm going to show you real quick with being able to make a blueprint. So what we want to do is just grab a mat. Doesn't have to be anything special or anything like that, but we want to grab a mat. We're going to set it down close to the edge. Now let's go back over to our catwalks. We want to put one down and then snap another piece to it. So the general rule of thumb in blueprint making is that you have to have a supporting item, and it has to be an item that snaps to another piece. That's why we have two pieces snapped here, like so. Now if you blueprint just the rug and then the two pieces of catwalk, we're going to go ahead and save that under a very fancy name like Camp Blueprint. Okay, so let's go back over to our blueprints. Now that we have some sort of blueprint, okay, so here's some. These are the shorter ones. So you can use the different variants of your catwalk, that way it creates different lengths and it gives you more options. But you can see that you can place that down. I can, will it let me there? No. Nope, not participating. There we go. So it'll let you place it down, and over here it's finicky because it doesn't want you to put it in the water, and if you get too close, it does show up as water. But you can see here that you can actually place this down, kind of butt these up to each other, whatever you want to do, and then when you're done, delete the rugs. So now you have a walkway. I'm just throwing ideas out there for you, okay? You can accomplish this however the heck that you want to. That's not a big deal. But for your end product, we don't want to see any walls or floors. And we all have to build with our camp module on this island that has the soot flower. I thought that that would be an interesting challenge. And the reason I think it's interesting is because it forces people to think outside the box. You're not allowed to use floors or walls, so it's forcing you to be creative and pick items that maybe you haven't used before or you are less likely to use. It's an exercise in kind of brainstorming, one with yourself, but with others as well. Because after you get to see their finished products, we're going to have side-by-side comparisons. We're all in the same location. It's going to give you an idea of how other people may address the situation differently from you, and that's a good learning experience. So that's the purpose of this. I want to do a building exercise. Anything that you learn or when you push your boundaries or get outside your comfort zone, you're kind of it's forced learning, is what it is. It's forcing you to deal with the situation differently than you normally would. And no, this contest isn't for everybody. But I think that with a lot of the people that I have discussed this, I know that I'm going to have participation in this. There's some people that are already interested. I have not disclosed the location or anything. I just said that I'm going to take a couple of tabs out of the work area or, your work menu that you can't use in your final product. But you can feel free to go ahead and, you know, use your floors, use your walls during the building process. There's nothing wrong with that. And, a lot of water, you got to be careful because if you take a foundation and then you place it in the water, sometimes you can't get it back. But over here, we have good water and it's not eating our foundations or walls. So I think that's going to be the parameters, is that we all build in the same location. No floors, no walls. And I'm going to participate in this one also. But one of the other rules is that I want it to be some sort of living space. It has to be a livable area where your character was going to be living. And I am going to post up all of the rules. Now, with that being said, a lot of people don't like using crafting benches in their camps because they are budget killers, and I completely understand why you would avoid that. But that's not going to be the case here. We want this to be a livable space where the person in your story, whatever story you're trying to tell, the person would be crafting and stuff like that. So I want a minimum 5 crafting benches. They can all be the same. They can be a variety of different ones. You can have more than 5 if you want. I don't care. But it's a minimum of 5. And that limits us even more now. So this is going to be a challenge, but I think it's going to be a fun challenge. So rule number 1 has to be a livable space. Number 2, you have to build it right in this location. And again, it is the only island with soot flower on there. I want a minimum 5 crafting benches, and for your end product, the very final viewing of the camp, Nothing from your floor tab is allowed in there. And then nothing from the wall tab is allowed in there. Those items cannot be in the camp. And I think it's going to be a fun experiment. It's a good exercise, and it's that's basically all this is. It's an exercise in creativity to push us as little digital artists, which that's what we're doing. We're creating digital art. But I thought it would be pretty cool to, you know, have limitations on it. Everybody has to use the same location, and that way we can see the end result of everybody, and then, look at everybody's different ideas. I think that that would be really, really cool. Hey, look, Fashnot. Hopefully you guys ended up getting some good masks and plans, stuff like that. The flower box plans did come out pretty good. They look good. Um, it just sucks that if you do want them pressed up against the wall, you're definitely going to have to make a blueprint because they float away from all the walls that I tried it on. But yeah, I think let's do this. It's going to be fun. I've ran it past quite a few people that I know are definitely going to be participating, and they're curious, just like I am, of, what kind of ideas are other people going to come up with. It's just going to be an interesting little experiment. And then at the end of it, again, we'll throw up all the camps in the Discord, and you guys get to vote and see which one was your favorite. And then we'll kind of go through all of them, and we'll find out why that was your favorite pick. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this little challenge and contesty. But the main thing is that I want people to focus less on it being a contest and more of an exercise in expanding your creativity by limiting what items that you can or can't use. And then again, you don't have any control over where it's being built. So that way we can compare side by side all these camps at this one location. I think it's going to be fun. I hope you guys join us. I love you, and I can't wait to see what some of you people come up with because you guys are ridiculously good builders, and I have no doubt there's going to be a massive amount of creativity involved in this. So I love you, and I will see you soon. Make sure that you get your submissions in. Um, we are going to go to the end of March. I will post the dates and everything in a formal way up on the screen. That way, there's no confusion on when the deadline is. And then we'll go have some fun and view all these things. So have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.